When it comes to speaking, the first few seconds are everything. Did you know that people form an opinion about you within the first 7 seconds of hearing you speak? That's right, 7 seconds. In politics, that window is even smaller. According to studies, 85% of political speeches lose their audience if they don't grab attention right from the start. So, how can you make sure your audience stays locked in? It's all about starting strong. A powerful opening can boost your credibility, spark curiosity, and even win you votes. Think about it, some of the most famous political speeches in history began with just a few unforgettable words. But how did they do it? In this video, we'll dive into the exact strategies politicians use to start their speeches like pros. From shocking facts to rhetorical questions, you'll learn how to engage your audience instantly and make them want to hear more. Ready to learn how to open your next speech with power and confidence? Let's get started. Chapter 1. Grab their attention with a power punch. The start of any speech is crucial, but in politics, it's even more important. When you step up to speak, your goal is to command attention right away. The first few seconds are all you've got to hook your audience. A great way to do this is by opening with a bold statement or a shocking fact. This is exactly how President John F. Kennedy started his inaugural speech. Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. That one line set the tone for his presidency. Using a hard-hitting fact or quote at the beginning can stir emotions. For example, when Winston Churchill spoke to the British people during World War II, his opening words were, "We shall fight on the beaches." This simple statement built confidence and courage. A shocking statistic can also do the trick. Research shows that a compelling stat can keep people listening. Did you know that 65% of people are more likely to engage with a speech if it starts with a surprising statistic? It's a tactic politicians use to grab attention, and it works. If you're delivering a speech on climate change, for instance, you could say, "We've only got 12 years left to fix this." This isn't just dramatic, it's backed by scientific research. This is how to immediately make your audience sit up and pay attention. Chapter 2. The icebreaker, turning awkward silence into political gold. Ever notice how great politicians seem to have no problem with silence? They don't rush to fill the space. Instead, they allow moments of quiet to work in their favor. Silence is powerful, it can draw people in and make them wonder what's next. Think about Martin Luther King Jr.'s "I Have a Dream" speech. The moment of silence before he started speaking gave him the space to connect with the crowd. A great icebreaker doesn't always have to be profound, it can be humorous. Humor lightens the mood and makes you more approachable. Take President Ronald Reagan, for example. At one point, he joked, "I am not going to exploit, for political purposes, my opponent's youth and inexperience." The audience laughed, and he instantly broke the tension. Starting with a personal anecdote or a relatable story also works well. Did you know that 87% of political speeches that start with a personal story are perceived as more authentic? It's true. When people feel they can relate to you on a personal level, they're more likely to listen. A simple, well-timed joke or an interesting story doesn't just warm up the audience, it creates a bond. By the time you get to the real content, people are already on your side. Don't forget to subscribe to get more tips on how to level up your speaking skills. Chapter 3. The power of silence. When less is more. Silence isn't just the absence of sound, it's a strategic tool. Many politicians use silence to build anticipation. By taking a brief pause before speaking, they give the audience time to reflect on the moment. Think about the dramatic pauses in speeches by figures like Barack Obama. When he paused during his speech in 2008, it made his words feel even more significant. The human brain processes pauses differently than regular speech. Research shows that when there's silence in a speech, the brain becomes more alert and focused. This is why pausing before delivering a key message is so effective. Pauses can also help emphasize the importance of what you're about to say. If you open with a moment of quiet, your audience will feel the weight of the words that follow. For instance, when Mahatma Gandhi said, "In a gentle way, you can shake the world," he paused, allowing those words to sink in. Don't be afraid of a little silence. It's not awkward. It's powerful. Think of it as your secret weapon, making every word you say afterward feel like a revelation. Chapter 4. Creating the vision. Start with a bold promise. One of the most effective ways to start a political speech is by presenting a bold vision for the future. People want to hear what change you're promising. Take Franklin D. Roosevelt's famous line, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." This statement created an image of strength and hope during the Great Depression. Starting with a promise taps into people's desire for something better. President Obama used a similar technique in his 2008 campaign with his slogan, "Yes, we can." By focusing on a collective vision of hope, he made his audience feel like they were part of something bigger. A strong opening vision isn't just aspirational, it's actionable. It should give people a sense of what they can expect from you, whether it's change, security, or progress. A study by the Harvard Business Review found that 72% of successful speeches started with a clear statement of purpose or vision. When starting your speech, think about what people want most. Do they want security, peace, or prosperity? Craft a vision that speaks directly to these desires, and you'll win them over. Chapter 5, The Rhetorical Question. Playing to the audience's emotions using a rhetorical question is a brilliant way to get your audience thinking. These questions don't require an answer, but they make people engage with the topic right away. President Ronald Reagan famously asked during a debate, "Are you better off than you were 4 years ago?" It wasn't just a question, it was a challenge. Rhetorical questions help you tap into your audience's emotions. They make people reflect on their current situation and immediately connect with the topic. Politicians use this strategy to make people feel urgency or concern. For example, in a speech about economic reform, you might ask, "How long are we going to let the gap between the rich and poor grow?" This question doesn't need a direct answer. It just needs to spark the audience's thought process. Emotions play a huge role in persuasion. Studies show that 70% of decision-making is influenced by emotions. By asking the right questions, you can make your audience feel like they're a part of the solution. Chapter 6, Establishing Credibility. Speak with authority. From word 1 to be taken seriously, you need to establish your authority early on. One way to do this is by referencing a credible source, a well-known figure, or even a personal achievement. Take a page from former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher's book. In her speeches, she often cited her experiences as a businesswoman and mother, giving her words extra weight. Politicians who establish credibility early gain trust quickly. You don't have to be a world leader to do this. Start with a quote from an expert or a recognized authority. This instantly gives your speech gravitas. When starting, it's important to communicate that you know what you're talking about. This is why many successful speeches include a well-placed fact or historical reference. For example, when George Washington said, "It is better to be alone than in bad company," he immediately established his wisdom and experience. In the digital age, people are more likely to trust a speaker with proven knowledge. Data shows that 63% of people say they'll trust a speaker more if they reference reliable statistics or studies. Starting with authority means people will listen, and they'll believe you. Don't forget to subscribe to get more tips and tricks for crafting the perfect speech every time.